ADRA's Humanitarian Action Plan alleviates hunger in African countries. Conference Conscience and Liberty 2023 emphasizes religion and freedom of expression. Adventist Faculty of Theology in Spain celebrates its 80th anniversary. These and other news stories are coming up now on ANN. ADRA, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, has launched its 2023 Hunger Relief Emergency Plan to reach the Horn of Africa's most vulnerable children, families, and individuals. The region is experiencing its worst drought in decades, with 4 consecutive dry seasons threatening the lives of millions of people in Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan.
According to the United Nations, more than 36 million people require food and humanitarian assistance, and acute hunger is expected to worsen before spring. The lack of rain, combined with the effects of COVID-19 and rising global food and fuel prices caused by the Ukrainian conflict, has exacerbated the situation. Among ADRA's actions are school feeding programs to prevent student dropouts, water trucking, and community water infrastructure rehabilitation.
Religion and freedom of expression was the theme of the Conference Conscience and Liberty 2023, organized by the International Association for the Defense of Religious Liberty, AIDLR. The conference, held in Lisbon, Portugal, brought together renowned experts and thinkers in the area of freedom of conscience, worship, and religion. Attendees discussed law, history, theology, and culture. Paulo Macedo, Secretary General of the International Association for the Defense of Religious Liberty, explained the theme of this conference, religion and freedom of expression, was chosen as a response to a deep concern about the current tension between the freedoms of religion and expression. He added, "There is a tendency to silence the voice of those with faith. It is necessary to reflect and try to help resolve this tension with the view that will maintain respect for both aspects of freedom." Ganoun Diop, General Secretary of the International Religious Liberty Association, explains the story behind the passion for religious freedom of the Adventist Church.
We have to go back to 1888. During that year, a senator in America, actually Senator Blair from New Hampshire, proposed 2 bills to the US Congress. The first bill was purposed, in fact, to make Sunday a mandatory, Sunday mandatory for every American. It was called Sunday law, part of what was called also blue law. But there was a second bill that was proposed to the Congress, which was, in fact, to make America into a Christian nation. So early Adventist pioneers decided to oppose that bill. As a matter of fact, A.T. Jones decided to go to the US Congress and actually argue against those 2 bills. So this is how it started. It was in 1888. But they realized that going to speak to the Congress was not sufficient. So the early pioneers decided to create an association that they call NARLA, North American Religious Liberty Association, basically, NARLA. And that was in 1889. But they realized the theme, the topic of religious liberty is universal and therefore could not be limited to the American context. So they expanded the NARLA, National Association for Religious Liberty, into the IRLA, that is the International Religious Liberty Association.
It all started as a conversation among friends and work colleagues, and soon turned into an initiative that mobilized volunteers to feed hundreds of homeless people in Guatemala City, Guatemala.
As a producer of a program for young professionals on Union Radio, an Adventist-operated station that covers 90% of Guatemala, Gabriela Coronado wanted to close the weekly program she produces with an impactful final activity. Since 2019, the program, coined Followers 2.2, has been motivating young people to follow Jesus even amid the personal and social problems they face every week. Gabriela explained, During our dinner out as a team, one colleague suggested we distribute a hot meal. As soon as they shared the project idea with other work colleagues, church members, and faithful listeners, food and monetary donations began to be dropped off to kickstart the initiative. More than 30 volunteers showed up, and the team decided to distribute the meals at Paseo La Sexta Park. According to the Guatemala Institute of Statistics, INE, in 2020, there were more than 1,000 people living on the streets in Guatemala City.
This is a very special year for the Adventist Faculty of Theology, FAT, in Spain, as it celebrates its 80th anniversary. The administration is planning to celebrate the anniversary through visits to churches, online talks, publication of articles, a spectacular congress, and the start of new online courses at all levels.
The beginnings of the institution date back to 1942, shortly after the Spanish Civil War, due to the need to organize theological training for Adventist pastors. Throughout its 80 years of existence, the FAT has had its headquarters in the cities of Madrid, Valencia, and Sagunto. Sagunto Adventist Campus is a Christian educational institution committed to responding to the challenges that current education represents and offering comprehensive training to its students and their families. It currently offers education at kinder, primary, secondary, and baccalaureate levels, as well as the music school, art academy, Spanish school, and Faculty of Theology.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we will go to Zambia, where World Church President Ted Wilson and his wife Nancy visit a missionary institution.
Neglecting shared family meals can keep you from achieving better health and weight control, positive social outcomes, better grades, and can also increase the chance of involvement with drugs, cigarettes, and alcohol. And these negative outcomes aren't just for kids. At the same time, numerous studies reveal that all ages, races, ethnic groups, levels of education, employment, and income benefit by eating with family. That's a fact. But there's hope. We eat every day. Reclaim the family table and make it a habit to eat together. In the next week, select one meal when all the people in your household sit down and eat together. Turn off the television and focus on listening to each other, sharing the day's stories, and nurturing the family connection. Not only will you be fostering better health in your family, but you may find that no one wants to leave the table.
Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?
Did you know elephants are some of the most emotionally intelligent animals on Earth? We often think of wild animals as having little emotion or capacity to love, but elephants defy this. For example, they love playing together in friendly tussles with their family. And it's not just the play that's intriguing, it's that they seem to experience joy from it. They're also known to have strong family bonds, even displaying empathy and love toward each other. In fact, you rarely see elephants by themselves. They enjoy the companionship of their family. In fact, when a member of the herd dies, the others will even hold a burial ceremony and mourn the loss. This capacity for emotion is a beautiful reminder of the God of love who gave even elephants the capacity to love.
On a visit to Southern Africa, Adventist World Church President Ted Wilson and his wife Nancy visit the River Farm Center in Zambia. The principles of the institution, which is based on aspects of physical, mental, and spiritual health, moved Nancy Wilson.
Riverside Farm Institute in Kafue, Zambia was the venue for the General Conference President Elder Ted Wilson's next port of call as he continues with his tour in Southern Africa Indonesian Division. Accompanied by his wife Nancy, the division president Dr. Harrington Simoya Kombwa, and other regional church leaders, Elder Wilson paid a visit to the 49-year-old Seventh-day Adventist self-supporting ministry. Riverside Farm Institute sits on 1,100 hectares of land and exists for the purposes of equipping men and women to make an impact for good in their community as they emulate Jesus Christ, his ministry of love and compassion. The leaders of the institution narrated the history of Riverside Farm Institute, and what a coincidence, because Dr. Harrington Akombo himself was once assisted in this institution, and he encouraged the people to visit it for healing.
My BP was found to be high. Somebody whispered to me, go to Riverside. We came here for 7 days, and at the end of 7 days, my late mother would have loved to see me. I was like her small baby again. I was up and about, and I'm excited about this. I would like to encourage as many as will find have need, that let them come to Riverside. Riverside will sort them out and give them a new lease of life.
Experiences. And I have to say, we have 3 daughters, and one of my deep regrets is that none of them had that experience to come here. And I'm going to tell them today on my computer that I believe the Lord is coming very soon, but if he delays a few years, I want our grandchildren to come here. Because our daughters grew up in Africa. It's very dear to their hearts.
This health institution has seen it all, as many people have received medical, spiritual, and educational health. And the big question is, how do they achieve this mission? Well, today, Elder Ted Wilson and his entourage had an opportunity of seeing firsthand the many things taking place in this beautiful place, situated in a tranquil area, far from the madding crowd. Here, we have health and outreach-related activities taking place at Riverside Farm Institute. The activities include a beautiful and well-equipped wellness center, a vast banana plantation bordering the mountain and with impressive harvests, extensive hectares of soybeans plantation that alternate with wheat after every harvest, maize plantation that stretches as far away as the eye can see, and a natural and no-chemical soap-making factory, a mobile and a dental clinic. The taste of the pudding is in the eating, and Elder Wilson was given an opportunity to just lie down and experience what the patients go through in the comfort of God's nature. A primary school and a secondary school, he further expressed a great appreciation for the 350 Riverside Farm Institute pupils who are currently sponsored by the Child International Impact. In return, the students gave a special item that melted the hearts of the delegates.
I'm so impressed with the beauty of having such a wonderful group of young people together who have one purpose, and that is to serve others and to serve the Lord.
The world leader further encouraged Riverside Farm Institute, an ASI member and charter member of OCI, to continue meeting community needs through education, health, practical aspects of life, and the message of salvation.
You know, there's so much you can learn from agricultural process in order to truly understand how soul winning takes place.
Dr. Hobson Bonya, the SID Vice President responsible for ASI, was happy with the work done by ASI members in this territory.
Yes, I know of several ASI chapters that keep talking, but no work on the ground. So ASI, as far as it's reflected on in the work of Riverside Institute, they're doing the work.
Elder Ted Wilson praised the Riverside Farming Institute for initiating 60 Seventh-day Adventist congregations through their missionary activities. He concluded his tour by praying with the locals and his delegates at the Riverside Farm. As for the locals, they were not just happy to see their leader, but to worship with him under one roof, some of whom said they've only seen him in magazines and television.
It was so nice, you see, to have the entire General Conference to these premises, and they did emphasize much that our mission will be based on our health, mentally, and this should work together.
To worship with the GC president was very amazing. It was almost like unbelievable. A lot of leaders, a lot of executive people from the General Conference to SID. Some of those people were just reading about them during the Church Heritage course, but to see them live, it was very humbling.
Well, the experience has been so wonderful. It's been so nice. Having the General Conference with us here is so humbling. He has talked much about health, even on the part of education. I'm a teacher by profession, and I'm by the secondary school. So I've learned a lot that we really need to put much in our growing children that are Christians. We need to help our children. The learners are supposed to know Christ, and they have to know that Christ will come again to take us home.
It was a unique opportunity for us here at Riverside, especially for me, having been here for 35 years, and to have the General Conference president. I always see him on media, in books, in papers, but now to see him face to face, it was really an encouragement for us here, and we are very thankful and honored to have the privilege of having him here.
It's been an incredible experience to visit this institute, which combines, like Jesus did, the physical, mental, social, and spiritual aspects of life. And Riverside Institute exemplifies that kind of service mentality that Jesus demonstrated in his own ministry.
The work taking place at Riverside is a true reflection of what Christ would have done if he was still here on earth. Jesus' ministry was that of love and compassion, and what a better way to emulate his ministry than for us to be his hands and feet. For the Adventist News Network, this is Noel Spanda reporting from Zambia.
After the break, we'll see how the Seventh-day Adventist Church in southern Brazil offers free courses for its surrounding community.
Did you know the largest rays are filter feeders? At up to 1,600 kilograms, 3,600 pounds, and 7 meters or 23 feet across, mantas are the largest known ray species. Mantas are part of a larger group of animals, which includes all other rays, skates, and sharks. Being grouped with creatures like sharks, one might think huge manta rays would be highly effective predators. But these gentle giants are anything but dangerous. They don't even have stingers like stingrays. Mantas swim with their wide mouths open, filtering small plankton from the water. As they feed, they perform an elegant dance. Just look at how graceful they are. These gentle giants remind us that God's ideal is not bloody predators, even amongst his largest creations.
What's your focus? Are you in the habit of negativity, despair, and even self-pity? Our brains reshape themselves according to what we think, feel, and expect. I'm Vicki Griffin, host of Living Free. Join me for Your Internal Environment, an episode that will give you a new perspective.
For everything God created is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving, because it is consecrated by the Word of God and prayer.
Ever wish you didn't have to fold laundry, mow the lawn, or take out the trash? A study published recently in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that seniors who expended the most energy on daily duties were less likely to have mental declines as they aged. Participants in the most active group were 91% less likely to experience declines in memory, concentration, and language abilities after 5 years than those in the least active group. And that's a fact. But there's hope. While a regular exercise program is an important part of a healthy lifestyle, don't overlook physical activity throughout the day. The seniors in the most active group burned most of their calories in activities of daily living, reporting doing more walking, climbing more stairs, engaging in more caregiving and volunteering, and just moving more overall. Although not typically thought of as exercise, these physical activities get our heart rate up and improve circulation while also protecting brain function.
The Youth Hall of the Adventist Temple in the CIC neighborhood, Cidade Industrial de Curitiba, in the capital of Paraná, a state in southern Brazil, became a classroom for the electrical course offered free of charge to the community.
Ryan Delgado Ferreira Lemes, one of the 21 students who completed the course and received a certificate, praised the project. "I learned a lot. The teachers teach very well. It will help us to participate in service projects and earn some money." Those interested signed up for a health fair promoted by volunteers from the Misao Caleb project and attended classes. On the last day, the students took the theoretical test and had the practical class. In addition to offering more trainings throughout the year, the Adventist Church in Curitiba also intends to open a Bible class for students who are interested.
Millions of people have found hope and salvation in Jesus, but many mission challenges remain. God has invited us to participate with Him in His mission of salvation here on earth. Who will say, "I will go"?
We thank God for the growth in the Seventh-day Adventist Church since global mission began some 3 decades ago.
I don't think we have ever sat down to discuss a subject of greater importance than global mission. And global mission requires a strategy in order to carry the message of God's love, the saving grace of Christ, and His soon coming to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. A global mission and a global strategy which extends from continent to continent, country to country, city to city, group to group, and ultimately person to person.
We've seen many new people groups and countries entered. We've seen thousands of new churches planted. We've seen literally millions of people find hope and salvation through Jesus. Of course, many mission challenges still remain, but that's nothing new. When the good news about Jesus spread from Jerusalem some 2,000 years ago, it didn't happen because the apostles came together, planned together, prayed together, and said, "I will go." No, sadly, it really only happened as a byproduct of persecution. When the believers fled Jerusalem for safety, they then shared the good news in the places where they landed, like Syrian Antioch, where the church was started by refugees from Jerusalem. Today's Antioch, now called Antakya, is located just over the Turkish side of the border, and it's still a destination for refugees. Tens of thousands of refugees have poured over the border from Syria in the past few years.
It was here in Antioch that the followers of Jesus were first called Christians. Just over the hill is a cave that was one of the first cave churches where they believed was one of the places where those early Christians met. This soon replaced Jerusalem as the mother church, and it became the base for sending out missionaries. The Apostle Paul launched his missionary journeys from here, planting churches throughout Turkey and the then-known world. Today, Antakya is in the heart of the 1040 window, one of our most challenging mission areas, where more than 60% of the world's population lives. In this window, there are some 7,000 unreached people groups. They're considered unreached because they don't have enough of a Christian presence to continue without outside help. In this window, you find some of the world's poorest people and also some of the world's richest. It's also home to the world's great religions, with only a handful of Christians. In fact, right here in the Middle East, there are cities of more than 1 million people, and not one single Seventh-day Adventist.
Of course, our urban mission challenge is not limited to the Middle East or the 1040 window. In Africa, Asia Pacific, the Americas, Europe, cities where the majority of the world's population now live are our new mission field. And of course, the cities are home to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. In any large city today, you'll find ethnic enclaves or neighborhoods such as Little Italy, or Chinatown, or Little India, or Little Korea. The list goes on, because people like to stick together. And in the large cities, you will also find every conceivable religion or belief system or non-belief system. And it's this last group, the non-believers, the secular, the post-Christian, those who live their lives without any reference to God. It's this rapidly growing group that is a particular mission challenge. How do we even begin to reach people who don't believe in God and have never even seen a Bible? How do we even begin to reach people who are rich and increased with goods and feel as if they have need of nothing? These are questions that have confronted the church in Australia, New Zealand, Europe for many years. Now they're starting to confront the church in every world territory. Behind me is St. Mark's, which was built in the 1820s as a Church of England chapel. Today, it is no longer a place of worship. It is the Mercato Mayfair. It's a food hall where people come to eat, to drink, to socialize. And it's like hundreds of other former churches throughout England, throughout Europe, that no longer serve their original purpose. They have become apartments, they have become restaurants and bars and art galleries and yoga studios, everything except that original purpose. And they are symbolic of the new post-Christian society that we are facing. Today we look at the growing secular and post-Christian populations. We look at the adherents of other world religions and the people groups in the 1040 window. We look at the cities. In the face of such challenges, many people see walls, but we see opportunities. Many see the lack of funds, but we see the source of all funds. Many see our weakness, but we see His strength. And God has invited us to participate with Him in His mission of salvation here on earth. Who will say, I will go?
Thank you for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Did you know the Seventh-day Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch ANN Video, ANN In Depth, and plenty of other amazing videos on prophecy, health, and Bible study? Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you never miss a new video. And remember, leave a comment or a prayer request. We have a team dedicated to praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before we say goodbye, we'll leave you with some good news from the book of John, chapter 17, verse 3. It says, "And this is life eternal, that they might know Thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom Thou hast sent." That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, when we will have more news of faith, love, and hope, God bless.